youngest. So, but I thought the cue was, I guess we were going by age and I'm first or after as well. Magandang gabi. That's all I know, so don't ask me for advance. Hello, San Francisco! Hello. That's what I want to go on because I'm going to have a story before this story. This is where my career began. I'm a proud graduate of the City College of San Francisco Hotel and Management School. I graduated a long time ago, in 1995, but I started my culinary career here in San Francisco in 1993. All right, so I'm very proud in a lot of ways to be from here, in a lot of in some ways, be from San Francisco. And so it's full circle for me to be standing in front of you to be part of this esteemed group of co-authors to share, promote, and to highlight and to bring awareness to, my culture, our culture, but through food, for that matter. So I just want to say thank you, and it's an honor for me to be here. And now I'm going to show my age by putting my glasses. All right, so I'm not sure what my page is. Is it on here? I think it's 205. Okay, 205. All right, so an excerpt from the pear-shaped avocado by Rodelio Aglibot, that would be me. So they call me the food Buddha for a lot of things, a little side story. So I was doing interviews in LA years ago, and two writers, one cookbook writer and one editor for Bon Appetit, goes, Rodelio, every time we interview you, you talk about love. You talk about purpose. You don't talk about ingredients nor food. You're like the Buddha, and you look like one. So at first I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna go with it, so I'm going with it. All right. I have never known an avocado as anything but a fruit until we moved to California, where it was commonly used like a vegetable, especially in guacamole. Growing up in Hawaii, aloha, my parents introduced me to the avocado as a fruit. Like all fruits, it was served in our home as a sweet or as a dessert. I was maybe 7 or 8 in Hawaii when I began to recognize this pear-shaped fruit for the first time. And a hand-carved wooden bowl, fruit bowl of course, on the table which had the plastic on it, right? And the plastic on the furniture. So, on the Lazy Susan. I added that here, it's not on here, but yeah. The middle of the kitchen table, distinctly different from the mango, guava, and pineapple. At our kitchen table covered with vinyl tablecloth, right, the kind that rigor mortis on the edges. Mom and Dad line up short glass tumblers. I come from a big family. Stuffed with hand-shaved ice. Dad would pick an avocado from the bowl, slice it in half, revealing its greenish yellow flesh. He spooned the flesh generously into the tumblers. I wrote this 2 years ago. I didn't think I could, that's really descriptive. I don't know. I didn't write this, but I was like, wow, I wrote this? All right. So it's generously into the tumblers, over which Mom poured equal amounts of evaporated milk, carnation, of course, and sweetened condensed milk. And using a parfait spoon, they would start mixing the concoction. They take it with the ice and, they're mashing the avocado, so it almost becomes like a shake. So this was my inspiration. So I grew up, this avocado as a very sweet fruit dessert. So I was opening a restaurant back in Los Angeles, and I wanted to come up with a Filipino-inspired dessert. All right, so this is the sort of the story. So this inspiration for my signature avocado mousse, which basically debuted 15, 16 years ago in my restaurant in Los Angeles. This was that inspiration. It was a piece of my childhood. And it was also a piece of the love that came from my parents. A lot of things with chefs, so I'm going off the cuff here, but a lot of things with chefs that we create, and I believe with Filipino food, what's important is that it tells a story. It tells a story, and that's where I feel very fortunate to be grown up Filipino and in a sense, become a Filipino chef. Speaking of that with my restaurant, I've never written a business plan, yet alone I raised 1.3 million to open this restaurant. I worked behind the stoves, headed teams of cooks, and reinvented menus of Asian dishes, but I was no entrepreneur. Both luckily and unluckily slow, I embarked on my restaurant dream in the city where dreams come true, Los Angeles. Where else in the world would you meet enough people with the money to invest? On the flip side, pun intended, most of the people I met in LA were impressionable and untrustworthy. The biggest challenge was to trust my personal judgment, not to get caught up in the bullshit, not to sell out on my dream, but most importantly, not to compromise. Thank you very much.